Hello learners, welcome to LC Academy and welcome back to our front-end development journey. In the previous video, we can learn what is ES6 function in JavaScript and what are the modern features in JavaScript. In this video, we can learn what is API integration and data fetching. Let's get into the video. Okay, before learning fetch API, first we need to understand what an API actually is. Okay, API understands for Application Programming Interface. It acts like a bridge between two applications. For an example, when you open a weather app and search some place, like if I search Chennai weather, the app does not know the weather by itself. It sends a request to the weather app server through an API. The server processes the request and send the weather data back. Okay, the flow is very simple. First one is client send the request and client send the request to the API. That API receive the request and server process it the request and response come back to the client. This is the simple flow of API fetching. Nowadays, almost every applications uses APIs and like payment apps use Strips API, social media apps use Twitter API and weather app use Open Weather APIs. Okay. Now, understanding JSON data. Once an API sends data back, that data is usually returned in JSON format. Like JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. JSON looks very similar to JavaScript objects, but it's actually just a text format used for data exchanging. JSON follows some simple rules. We see the rules in one by one. Key must inside the double quotation. If you add a key, I mean API key, it's inside the double quotation. Values can be string, numbers, booleans, arrays, objects or null values. Okay, values are string, numbers, booleans, arrays, objects or null values. And then because of JSON is highlighted and easy to read. Almost all modern API use JSON. If you handle any modern websites, that websites also use a modern API in JSON. Okay. Now, okay, in this code, for an example, ID is 1, name is iPhone 15 Pro Max, the price is 999.99, category is electronics, so mobile is electronics category, in stock it's true, tags Apple and mobile, the tags inside in the array method, and space RAM in 8 GB and storage is 256 GB. Now here ID 1 is product ID. The ID 1 is considered like product ID and that product name is iPhone 15 Pro Max. If you see any online mobile buying websites, the websites looks like this. First you can see that ID number of the product number of the product ID of that image. Like if you see the website, first you can see the image of the product. Okay, so that image product ID first, so that is the ID name is 1 and the name of the product iPhone 15 Pro Max is the name of the product and price. Product price is 999.99 something. Okay, and then available quantities like how many. If you buy one mobile, we check the RAM and storage, camera quality. These are some particular quantities are here in that mobile, so we can add some tags. Okay, space, and this is complete structure response one product objects returned from the API. If you can add any typical JSON API, you can write this type of code, and the user can see this visible result in your in her websites. Okay. Now fetch API like get request, and if you need to fetch API, there are some methods like post method, get method, post method, and then two other methods are there. Now let's start the fetching data from API. And the JavaScript provide built-in functions. It's called fetch. Okay, and fetch is used to send the HTTP request and receive the response from the server. Okay, you all are see if you have some path in your websites, you see the HTTPS dot double slash quotation. This is the send request to receive the server. Whenever we want to data from a server, we use get request. If you need to send the request, you can post the request. If you need to get something from your API, you can use the get request. Okay, now you can see this code. Fetch HTTP dot double slash API open weather map. Okay, in this example we can fetch the API from open weather app. So this HTTP API open weather app is the open weather app போன்ற link. Okay, API. So we get the API from open weather app, and then fetch URL request send to the server. And fetch URL means request send to the server, and then response, then arrow function. It's a received server response. Okay, receive some response from our server, and then response is okay. The HTTP, if the response is okay, the HTTP link is worked, and then the response is not okay, that API is not working. Convert JSON text into JavaScript object. Okay, like in this return response.json, this return response.json is used for convert the JSON text. We can get the API or fetching APIs from the JSON text. That text will be converted into a JavaScript object. So that time we used response.json. Okay, then data name, data main. Actually API data becomes available here, and this catch function, this catch error is used for handle the errors. If you get a API from any other app, the time you faced any error, that time the catch error will find which type of error are come in your code. Okay, so this is the fetching API and get request. And then making the post request. Post request means we can sending the request. Okay, we can post some request. So that is called post request and sending data. Now get request retrieve data, and post request send the data to the server. Whenever user login, register, submit form, upload some informations, or creating a records, post requests are used. Okay, if you can add some details in your login form, or if you add some bank details related form, you can you can add your details. So the detail is you can add the all details and send it to the server. So you can post your details and send it to the server. So that function is called post request. Okay, this is the post method. Method is post method. Okay, request type. Which type of request we will send? You can get the API from other source. The method is get. You can post some method or sending some data. That method is called post. So requesting type becomes post, and then this header and content type like application JSON. This is server is informed the JSON data is being sent. Okay, the server means you can send the data from any other server. That server will be informed the JSON. This is the some data will be sent to you. So that message passes inside the two lines of code, and then body JSON string file converts JavaScript object into JSON string. Okay, Java, you can, in the previous slide, we can see convert JSON data into JavaScript object because we get the information. Now we can send the information. So now our Java object is now our JavaScript object will send it to the JSON. So we will convert the JavaScript object into the JSON string, and then await this await response.json. Read response from server. This await response.json is used for read the response, which type of response you will send. So the response will be readed in this line. Okay, and then the real time example, like we can imagine on user login form. Okay, first of all you can you can add your email address. Okay, so you email address and then password. So the email address and the password is sent to your server for an verification. That server accept you are already login, your email ID and password is correct. Then the server will return the message the login was successfully. So this is the real-time simple example for posting request or sending the data to the server. Okay, and then okay, assign await with fetch. These are the promising method. As assign and await is the promising method. Earlier developers used promises chaining with multiple dot then methods. Okay, if you are getting posting requests, you can use dot then method. Earlier developers can use this await and assign promises, and as the application becomes larger, code becomes harder to read. To solve this problem, JavaScript introduced the promises. Okay, before this first box is before promising changing. Okay, and then this second box is after JavaScript added promises in her modern JavaScript function, and then this function will be right. Okay, explanation of new modern JavaScript. Assign means mark a function in asynchronous. Okay, you can know what is synchronous and asynchronous in code. Okay, mark as a function in asynchronous, and then await is wait until the promise is resolved. Wait until you give some promise, so the promise will be resolved, and then try is executive normal codes. Try is used for executing the normal codes, and then catch. Catch is used for before slide I am told you. Catch is used for read your codes and which type of error you will see in your code. So catch will used for identify your errors and handle your errors. Used these promises, we have some benefits like your code is very clear code and easier to debugging. If you are using promises asynchronous and await, your code is very easy to handling errors and you can clear your errors and debuggings. Okay, and it's a better readability. That code is not messy and you are easily to read. You are easily to read your code. And another developer, you see your code. That person also see your code visibility and that people can understand your code. So you can use promises function in your JavaScript projects. Okay, next one is error handling. Error handling. In a real world application, API does not always work perfectly. Okay, it may be more disadvantages are that because like low poor internet may be disconnected or server may be not done and strong endpoint may be used, and because of it we must always handle errors. Okay, see in this code and throw new. Okay, throw new, create an custom per error. You can see what are the errors are in your code and you can you can see your code in line by line and reconnect your rewrite your code properly. Create a custom error and catch error means capture the errors, and finally always executed whether it's success or failure. In the real examples, if you have no internets or API request, or if you are using API and JSON data, that time you have handled some errors. That errors are mostly come from the low network connections and API requests will fail. You can give the correct API. That time your API will work. None other than your API is not request. Okay. Show the error message. User tries again. The API is not working. That user cannot understand what on what are the things working on your website. So if your API will not working, your user can see some message like please sometimes again later or user tries again later. Okay, and then loading states and user experience. One of the most biggest mistake beginners makes is not showing load status. If an API takes 3 seconds to respond, user thinks the application. Okay, if the user can access or user can use your websites, that time your API can takes minimum 3 seconds to respond to the user. So professional applications always show loading indicators. Like loading indicators means sorry loading. Let its loading is false. Let's error is null. If your code is correctly work, the time you need some loading actions. Let it comes error, it's not working, or none other than page is not working. Okay. Now loading start fetch, you can use fetch, the API calls begin, and then loading equal to false means loading ends, and then show spinner like display loading animations. Okay, display loading animations is used to the user can think, okay, that server will running slowly, so user can slightly understand this type of loading animation actions. Okay, in the real world examples, Instagram loading feeds, Amazon loading products. If the network is poor, you can add a loading animation effects. Okay, YouTube loading videos, all use loading states. Okay. Okay. Displaying API data in the UI. Fetching data is not enough because user need to actually see the data. So after receiving API data, we dynamically create a HTML element and insert them into the DOM. Okay. Const container. Okay. Now we can see the example, code example. Okay. Okay. Right. Const container. Okay. Const container equal to document dot get element by id. Inside the parenthesis we add a products. Okay, and then products dot for each product const car. Now const car equal to in that above document dot get element dot create document dot create element. Inside the parenthesis we add a div. Okay, and then card dot inner HTML equal to backstick h3 dollar symbol product details. Okay, product dot right, and then second one is product paragraph add a dollar symbol. We can see the dollar symbol and curly braces in our before slide in the topic of template literals. Okay. Product dot price. Okay. Now Ends. Now the container dot append child is called. Now the code is end. Okay. Get element by ID is find the HTML in container. Uh, inside in the, you see this card inter inner.html. Inside the inner.html, which ID will call. So in this first line, we can add a document dot get element by id. Okay. Now the for each is used for a loop. Okay. For loop, while loop, so used for a loop. For each is used for a loop through all products and create a element. This create a element, the create element is used for creating a new HTML element. Like in the again second line, we can add a inner.html. So in the above line, we can create a new element. Okay. And then append child. In the last line, we can add append child. Append child is used for display a code on web page. Now API data, JavaScript, APIs get the data and get into the JavaScript, and then the DOM manipulation and the visible UI. Okay, if you can add the correct API and you can write this code on your VS Code, you will see your visible output. Okay. Okay. Now the next one is multiple AI calls with promises.all. Promises.all. Okay. Sometimes we need a multiple API at the same time. Sometimes you create a real-time big level of project. Inside the project, you add more APIs. So that time the promise dot all is used. For an example, a dashboard maybe need user details and post notifications. Instead of the waiting for each request one by one, JavaScript allows us to run them parallel using promises.all. We can see this code: const post rest, profile rest, and notification rest. Like promises.all runs all promises simultaneously, and then await promise is used for wait until all requests finish. Okay, and then user post notification, these all are store the all results separately. Okay, if the admin can see the user's detail in her own admin page, then they see her how many users log in that page and how many users how many users can post how many images and what are the notifications are come. So these all are stored separately in her admin page. Okay, so these all have a multiple functions, it have a multiple API, so that time you can use promise.all function. Okay, when if you can use promises.all, you have some benefits like your code execution is very faster and it's a better performance, reduced waiting time. Okay, if you cannot use promise.all, the server is take some many time to load the web page. So you can use the promises.all. You can never wait for your further responses. So it's a professional application to use your all techniques. And then Okay guys, this is our what is API and what is data JSON data structures and fetch APIs from and get method, post method, asynchronous and await functions, error handlings and DOM manipulation, promises. These concepts from the foundation of API integration in JavaScript. This is the basic this is the basic and API functions have a many level of difficult codes are there. It is the basics of how to connect APIs and what are the basic methods are there. And then you can build the weather apps, e-commerce, application, dashboards, social medias, clones, and you create a full man stack applications. You can create this type of application. You can surely use this API fetching and JSON data structure formats. Okay, I hope you can understand this video. We will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching LC Academy. Thank you.